Salut! Alors, if you're watching this video, it means your teacher has given you EBI9 on your assessment and you are here to fix it. Now, this is a crucial EBI. You are not able to get a grade 4 or 5 at GCSE if you can't use the perfect tense with avoir. It is so crucial to your French. And it's not just about your GCSE. When you go to France, you're going to need to use the past tense. It is a fundamental part of you being good and being competent at French, which is what we want you all to be able to do by the end of your time at Glenthorne. So I'm afraid there's no quick fix to this today. This is a huge part of the language and a huge part of the GCSE. And it requires you guys to practice and work really hard on it. But don't worry, today's video is going to go through all of the rules, everything you need to know. And if you study this video, if you work hard, if you do the challenges and practice this from now, you'll never see EBI9 on your work again. So let's get into it. Let's go through the things that you need to do. First off, before I talk you through and explain the past tense and everything you need to know, I've got to tell you, there's no quick fixes to this. This is one EBI that you should be getting for years and years to come. Even year 12 and 13 still sometimes make mistakes on this and have to use this. So it's a huge thing that you need to do. There's two things you can do long term to make sure you improve it before the next assessment. First step I want you to do, whenever we're doing work, next module, whenever we learn a new verb or a new phrase, I need you to learn that verb in the past tense. Practice putting it into the past and conjugating it into the past to make sure you're ready. The second step you can take is that when you get your revision homework before the next assessment, you will have a question on it that's in the past tense. So find that past tense question, and then when you're drafting your answer, make sure it's the perfect answer and you've used the past tense correctly. You might even want to watch this video and then answer the past tense question to make sure you've got all the elements in place. That's what you need to do, and then practice answering it so when it comes to the real assessment, you've practiced and you know your past tense and you nail it for next time. The final thing you can do, this is for extra challenge only today, but you can make a revision poster because there's so many rules and so many things to remember today. Make a revision poster, stick it up in your room, make it look beautiful so you are practicing, you're always thinking about the perfect tense. Those are the three things that you could do to make sure that you'll never see this EBI again. And right guys, before we go through and explain the past tense where I answer each of these 5 questions one by one, I want to see what you already know. So what I want you to do is pause the video, see how many of these 5 questions you can answer. You might be able to answer all 5, but you've got this as an EBI, so you still need to study this video and practice. You might think, oh my god, I can't answer any of these 5 questions. That's fine as well. That's why you're here. By the end of this video, you'll know the answers to all 5 of these questions and you'll be a lot more confident at this. Put me on pause now, see how many you can answer. Then when you restart the video, I'll go through these one by one. Alors, pausez-moi, on y va. Alors mes petits, right guys, so question number 1 is, how many parts does the past tense have? Now this is a simple thing, but English speakers make a mistake with this every single time, and it's because English and French are different when it comes to the past tense. So to help you out, I put the English over here and the French over here. Let's look at how English works first. So I have eaten, we're all happy that's in the past tense in English, right? I ate is also in the past tense in English. Can say this morning I've eaten breakfast. This morning I ate breakfast. Both of them are in the past tense. However, in French it's different because in English we actually have 2 past tenses and we use them differently. I'm not going to go into that now, but we do. Whereas in French there's just one. In English we can say I ate, I played, I watched, I did, I wanted, whereas in French you can't do that. You never say I played, you never say I watched. You cannot do that in French because our fundamental rule is this, guys. In English you can say I played, I watched, I did. In French you can't, because rule number 1 for the French past tense is you have to have the have. You never say I played. You never say I watched. You always need to say I have played, I have watched. Glenthorne, you have to have the have. So, what's our verb to have? It is avoir. You should know this from year 7. This is our verb to have. It's a year 7 must know. If you don't know it off by heart, you need to learn it as well as I do. J'ai, tu as, il est, l'on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. This is our verb to have. And in French, in the past tense, you always say I have watched, I have played. You have to have the have. So, this is step number 1. We have to have the have. Step number 2 then, what's wrong if I said I have play, I have watch, I have eat? You need to change that second verb to put it in the past tense. Now in English, there's loads of different ways to say that. Sometimes we put an ed on the end, sometimes an en, sometimes a t. And when I used to teach in France, right, this used to drive students in France mad because they used to say things like, I have learned that. And I'm like, no, it's I learnt that. And they'll be like, well, why? And I'm like, I don't know. So in English, there's loads of different past participles. Learnt, read, did. It all changes, whereas in French, it is beautiful and simple. It all depends on the type of verb it is. So there's 3 types of verb. What are they? ER, IR, and RE. And in French, they follow this pattern. So if you want to change an ER verb into the past tense, you have to have the have, and then the ER changes to an E with an accent. And this E with the accent is like our ED in English. If it's an IR verb, you change the IR to an I, and if it's an RE verb, you change the verb to a U, and that's the pattern. So all you need to do is have these 2 parts. You have to have the have, you always have the have, which the posh word for this is called the auxiliary, and then you change the second verb to get that ED or T or EN sound, and this is how you do that. Put the 2 bits together, and you've got the past tense. Let's look at some examples then, guys. I'm going to show you how it's done. So you have to have the have. This is a must know. So I've taken away the conjugation. You should know this off by heart. And then what did I say the ER changed to? What did the IR change to? What did the RE change to? Let's put it together and see what we've got. So here I've got our verb manger with an ER in the end. I want to put it into the past tense to mean either I have eaten or I ate. So in French, I can't say I ate, I have to have the have. So what's I have? It is j'ai. So this here, I'll write j'ai, and then, let me write it down so you can see it. So here, I've got j'ai, voila, and then I've got the have. The second part, I need to change this ER to change it to eaten. ER changes to E with an accent, so I change this to j'ai manger with the E with the accent. Voila. Tell you what, let me neaten this up. Let's change this. J'ai mangé. Et voila. See what I've done. So I've got part 1. I've got the have. And then the ER changes to an E with an accent. Second one then. We have finished. Now I need to say we have. So I take nous avons. And then the IR changes to an I. Put it all together. Nous avons fini. Voila. See what I've done? What I want you to do now is put me on pause. 3, 4, 5 and our extra challenge number 6. Can you change them? So number 3 is a bit of a trick question. It says he watched. What you have to have. See if you can put 3, 4, 5 and then have a go at the extra challenge number 6. See if you can follow our 2 steps and put this into French. Put me on pause and see what you can do. Alors, mettez-moi sur pause et essayez de traduire 3, 4, 5 et 6 si tu veux en français. Bon courage. When you're ready, restart the video and I'll go through the answers. Hello, alright guys, so how have you got on? We did the first 2 together. Let's have a look at number 3. So, first rule, this is a trick question. It says he watched because that's fine in English, but in French you can't say he watched. You have to still have the have. So, you need to say he has watched. He has is il a. And then our verb to watch is regarder with an ER in the end. What does the ER change to in the past? E with an accent, so it is il a regardé. Voilà. Alors, numéro 4, I have finished. Now, we've seen finir before. This time it's I have finished. So, step number 1, you have to have the have. I have is j'ai, and then the IR changes to an I to put it into the past tense. Donc, c'est j'ai fini. Alright, guys. Numéro 5. This is an RE verb this time. We have waited. To say we have, you say nous avons, and then an RE changes to a U, so it's going to be nous avons attendu. Voilà. And then finally, he listened. Again, it's another trick question. You don't say he listened in French. You always say he has listened. We have to have the have. He has is il a. Our verb is écouté, ending in an ER. The ER changes to an E with an accent in the past, so it is il a écouté. Et voilà. Right, guys. Bon effort ici. Give yourself a mark out of how many you've got. Total is 6. We did the first 2 together. If you don't think you've got this, if you're not sure about the have or what our verbs change to, just go back and watch the last few slides of the video and then have another go at this challenge. If you've got this, let's look at our key questions and see what we're moving on to. Et voilà, right guys, so we have looked at questions 1, 2, 3 and 4. Put me on pause, see if you can answer them now. If you can't, you need to go and watch the video again, look at the explanation and then come back to it. If you can, after you pause me, restart, I'll go through the answers and we'll have a go at question 5. Put me on pause now, see what you can do. Hello, right guys, so you should have paused me and had a go answering these questions. Let's go through them. How many parts does the past tense have? Unlike English, the past tense has 2 parts. In French, what you have to have? You have to have the have. You never say I watched, I did, I played. You always say I have watched, I have done, I have played. What do you have to change? So, I have watched, I have played. Doesn't make sense. We need to change that second verb to say played, watched, learnt. How do we do it? It all depends on the type of verb. If it's an ER verb, we change that ER to an E with an accent. If it's an IR verb, we change the IR to an I. And if it's an RE verb, we change the RE to a U. And this is how we say played, watched, learnt, eaten. This is how we do it in French. This is the regular pattern, and you can do this with every regular verb, but not all verbs are regular. What happens to a regular verb? So what do you think is going to happen? This is the regular pattern. They're not going to change it. So for this, I got good news and I got bad news. Alors, the good news then is that you still have to have the have. This never changes. We have to have the have, guys. So this is the first thing you need to remember. The bad news is our regular pattern, we change this RE to a U, we change this IR to an I, we change an ER to an E with an accent. For these verbs, that doesn't work. For the most common verbs, the ones we use the most often, they don't follow this pattern, they change completely. So you still have the have, but instead of changing that ending, the whole verb changes in the past tense. Now this happens in English as well. So the verb to do changes to did, see changes to saw, read changes to read, even though it's spelled exactly the same. So in English it's the same thing. The whole word changes to put it in the past tense. Now to help you learn this, there's a nice little rhyme for our first 5. So faire, voir, lire, boire and vouloir changes to fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu. I'm sure you've done this in class. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu. Easy to remember. So we still have the have, j'ai, and then the whole verb changes. J'ai fait, j'ai vu, j'ai lu is I did, I saw, and I read. Fait, vu, lu, bu, lu, vu. Then our next one, keep the rhyme going. Avoir, être, prendre, mettre, and devoir changes to été pris, mis, dû. Voilà, été pris, mis, dû. So put the whole together. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été pris, mis, dû. See how fast you can do it. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu. Oh no, I messed up. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été pris, mis, dû. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été pris, mis, dû. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été pris, mis, dû. Voila, alright guys, see if you can do it faster than me. If you can, show me in the corridor, I'll be really impressed. One more time. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été pris, mis, dû. Right, got it. That is what you need to remember. And then the rest, there's some really crazy verbs. Vivre is the verb to live, changes to vécu. Dire changes to dit. Écrire, to write, changes to écrit. Connaître, which is to know, changes to connu. And savoir, which is also to know, changes to su. Vécu, dit, écrit, connu, su. That's too hard. Right, guys, so these are our irregular verbs. You still have to have the have, but they don't follow this pattern. They change completely and you need to learn them off by heart. Alors mes petits, right guys, so let's put you to the test again. I've taken away the verb avoir. You need to know how this changes, and I've taken away the irregular past participles, but think back to the rhyme. See if you can complete them. Put me on pause. I want you to try and translate. I did, we saw, he read, I drank, we wanted, and then the extra challenge is tricky. He loved. Put me on pause now. See what you can do. Bon courage, on y va. Alors mes petits, right guys, if you listen to me now, you've paused me, you've had a go at answering these. Let's see how well you've learned it, let's see what we've got. So I did. Another trick question, you can't say I did in French, you always say I have done. I did doesn't exist. So you have to have the have, which is j'ai, and then faire changes to fait, j'ai fait, I did. Voilà. We saw, so this time we need nous avons, we have to have the have, and then voir changes to, it goes fait, vu. Put it all together. Nous avons vu. Voilà. All right, guys. Next one. He read. Lire changes to lu. He is il. So we just say il lu, right? Absolument pas. Mes petits, you have to have the have. Remember, you always need to have. You'd say il a lu. He has read. Voilà. I drank. So I have. J'ai. And then boire changes to bu. J'ai bu. He wanted, we wanted, so you need nous avons, we have, and then go down the rhyme. Fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, nous avons, voulu. Voila. Right, guys, if you got those 5, you've done well. This is extra challenge, not because it's hard, because it's a trick question. Loved is adorer or allow aimer. It's a regular verb, so you have to have the have, il a, and then the er changes to an even accent. You can either have il a adoré or il a aimé. Right. Give yourself a mark out of 6 for this, people. Bon effort. If you've not quite got the hang of this, then just go back a few slides in the video, watch the explanation again, and then come back and see what you can do. Guys, bon effort ici. This is what you need to know. Et voila, you've got 5 key questions now. Come to the end of the video, put me on pause, see if you can answer all 5 of these questions. If you can, well done, you've conquered this. If you can't, just rewind and go back and have a little watch of it and see what you can do. Put me on pause, see if you can answer them now. Alors mes petits, let's blitz our answers then. How many parts is the past tense? Unlike English, the past tense in French has 2 parts. You have to have people. You can never say I did, I played, I watched. You always say I have done, I have played, I have watched. We have to have the have, and then we change the second verb to stop you saying I have played, I have watched. We need to say I have played, I have watched. How do we change it? Depends on the verb. If it's an ER, change that ER to an E with the accent. That's like ED on the end of a verb. Change the IR to an I. Change the RE to a U. And then with irregulars, we still have to have the have, but we don't follow this pattern in question 4. They change completely. You've got to learn how they change. Right, guys, that is all you need to know. You know the theory, but now you've got to practice to get good at this, and that's where your daily tests come in. Your French teacher will have set you a daily test to do in your pink book. Watch the next slides and it'll explain how it works. Well done for watching this video. I'll see you on your next EBIs. À bientôt. Your next step is your daily test. So your French teacher will have set you this for your homework. You've got your daily test booklet. Do not write in the booklet. What I want you to do, step 1 is in your pink books, copy out this box, copy out all the questions, copy out all the answers, and then copy out the blank test next to it. Then you're going to revise all the answers here. So you're going to spend your time learning this, make sure you master it. Once you've got it, this is what I want you to do. Cover up the answers, make sure you can't see them, and then in the blank test that you've copied out, take out your red pen, see if you can answer all of these questions and see if you can fill in any boxes. Then once you've done that, uncover this and look at what you've done and mark up your work. What have you got right? What have you got wrong? And then have a look. This is the ideal bit. Rinse and repeat. Go back to the start. revise the answers again, and then test yourself again, and then revise again, and then test again, and then mark again, and repeat until you've absolutely cracked it. And then if you've cracked it, say you started Monday and by Tuesday you know it off by heart, great. I bet you by Friday you will have forgotten it again. It's called a daily test because we want you to do it once every day, and the best students do this. Test yourself every day. If you can do it for 5 consecutive days in a row and get 100%, you've cracked it, you've got it, you've done it. So that is your homework for next time. Your extra challenge, guys, is to make a revision poster on this. So why don't you watch the video again, pause it, make a poster, make it look amazing, stick it up in your room or show it to your French teacher, show to make sure you've mastered this. This is EBI7. It is so important. Hopefully now you're happy and you can crack it. Thank you for watching. À bientôt. Au revoir.